Man, I must be having a bad day for analyzing. I think this guy also has a pretty bad ability. Mummy, co-redacted Rigus okay, I won't do that. Only ability is completely useless when dealing with Pokemon that don't make use of their ability. For those who do, they simply have to avoid hitting Cofagrigus with a direct attack, which transfers the Mummy ability to them. And for some reason, if you wanted Mummy back on your Cofagrigus, which, coincidentally, it never lost, you could use Skill Swap. Because that makes sense. Apparently, Cofagrigus' special abilities go beyond ability stealing. A Pokédex entry for it, because those are never wrong, stated could eat nearby humans and when they died, turn those dead bodies into mummies. While that doesn't have use in battle, in nature, should humans ever come down to its tombs and crypts. Let's just say society would be glad to have those people off its hands, for the most part. Cofagrigus without Mummy would probably be exactly the same as with Mummy. It might last if it's battling Breloom with Effect Spore or something with the ability as opposed to without, but all in all, the normal effects of this ability, not including eating people, don't give much to Cofagrigus. Cofagrigus has to be one of the weirdest Pokemon out there. After all, it is a coffin with 4 arms. Its ability, Mummy, also suggests that it is under some sort of curse. Taking a closer look at a Cofagrigus, I noticed that it has 2 red eyes and a cheeky grin coming from inside the coffin. Because of this, I believe that there is a mummy inside the Cofagrigus' body that passes on the mummy curse to any Pokemon that makes contact with it. However, the curse is pretty harmless and doesn't do much in a battle aside from removing the attacking Pokemon's ability and replacing it with Mummy. The interesting thing is that Mummy keeps getting passed around whenever a Pokemon with it is attacked by a move that makes contact. This can easily make Mummy backfire, affecting some of your team members by replacing their abilities. Without Mummy, Cofagrigus could quite possibly be better than it is now, since the ability overall isn't too effective, but perhaps Cofagrigus needs Mummy to survive. I believe that this ability is responsible for keeping the Mummy in Cofagrigus alive so it can control the coffin's attacks and movement. Even then, Cursed Body still seems to fit Cofagrigus quite well as an ability and would provide greater utility by potentially disabling an opponent's move. The Mummy Pokemon, Cofagrigus, is a throwback to the Pokemon world before there were Pokemon trainers to capture wild Pokemon. Cofagrigus' ability comes from its lineage that links it back to the pharaohs of the ancient world. This ability changes an opposing Pokemon's ability to Mummy if the Pokemon makes contact with it. This allows Cofagrigus to stop many wild Pokemon that rely on their abilities to function at their peak. This ability works by passing on Cofagrigus' inner spirit to the attacking Pokemon, giving Cofagrigus some kind of loose control over it. It is likely that Cofagrigus is reliant on this inner spirit for any kind of sentience, as Cofagrigus cannot be found with any other abilities. It is also theorized that this ability is the reason Cofagrigus came back from the dead as a ghost Pokemon, but it is not clear to what avail. Maybe Cofagrigus is planning to make every Pokemon in the world a mummy. The Mummy's Curse. The old tale goes that Cerulean Jones, the famous spoke architect, discovered a labyrinth of mazes far beneath the relic castle. In those dusty tunnels he came upon the sarcophagus of the pharaoh Tutankhamun. As he edged closer and closer to the golden tomb, he sensed that someone was watching him and then, bam! It got him, and he was never heard from again. It's a story that's all too common when dealing with the coffin Pokemon, Cofagrigus. Cofagrigus, and its pre-evolution Yamask, have the unique ability with the super unique and original name, Mummy. When a Pokemon uses a contact move on Cofagrigus, their own ability is replaced by Mummy. This aids Cofagrigus in its goal to mummify as many people and Pokemon as possible, because as the saying goes, misery loves company, and Cofagrigus are miserable all the time. Rumor has it that each Cofagrigus is haunted by a soul who is not able to move on. These ghosts become trapped in the golden tombs and have to find a replacement soul before theirs is able to leave. So Cofagrigus lure likely targets with gold and treasure before mummifying them. The new mummy then must play host to the coffin and the cycle repeats itself. Frankly, it's terrifying. The Pokemon's ability transforms a living creature into a mummy. Do you know how they make mummies? They pull their brains out through their noses. Their noses. I've got the heebie-jeebies just thinking about it. I for one think we'd all be better off if Cofagrigus had a different ability, something less horrifying and more battle-oriented.